American League Championship Series pregame show on Fox is brought to you by Ameritrade, the smartest way to trade, period.
Welcome to Jacobs Field here in Cleveland, Ohio, as we prepare for Game 4 of the 1997 ALCS. The Baltimore Orioles and the Cleveland Indians in what already has been an exciting and fun-filled and at times a little crazy American League Championship Series. Joe Bach along with Tim McCarver and Bob Brenly. As we get ready for Game 4 here tonight, a quick look back at Game 3 here yesterday afternoon and last night. This is the spot where we got a chance to watch what really was a classic, a postseason classic. What a crazy way for the game to end with that unusual play at the plate.
It has been said that baseball is a game of failure, and never more so than last night. A failed squeeze bunt by Omar Vizquel. And the question has been in Cleveland throughout the day, did he make contact? It did not appear from that shot that he made contact as Marquise Grissom comes across to score. And by the way, initially, that was ruled a pass ball. It has been changed about an hour ago to a stolen base, so a steal of home to win the game last night.
That official scoring ruling changed actually 2 times, and it's now the first postseason game ever to end on a steal of home, and it belongs to Marquise Grissom. In Game 3 belonged to the Cleveland Indians. What a bizarre way, Bob Brenly, for that Game 3 to end.
Unusual, maybe. Bizarre, no. Bizarre would be if we would see the Baltimore Orioles attempt a bunt in this series. They've had 9 opportunities in the last 2 ball games to put down a sacrifice bunt, have yet to attempt a bunt, hit into 5 double plays. The one run that scored was when Marquise Grissom lost the ball in the twilight last night. You know, Davy Johnson played for Earl Weaver, and we all know Earl Weaver hated the bunt. Davy and Earl have a lot in common. They both frown on the bunt as an offensive weapon. They rely on pitching, defense, and 3-run homers. And this is the most important thing, they both win. Earl Weaver's in the Hall of Fame. Davy Johnson, highest winning percentage among active managers.
Well, as we prepare for Game 4 of this ALCS, it's worth to point out the pitchers. Scott Erickson is on the mound, and a winner in Game 1 of this ALCS for Baltimore. And there's a look at 21-year-old Jaret Wright. That is the pitching matchup here in Game 4. Erickson was in total control in Game 1. Jaret Wright, a big reason why the Cleveland Indians are here in this ALCS with 2 wins over the Yankees in the division series. Starting lineups, first pitch coming up next.
The American League Championship Series pregame show on Fox has been brought to you by Ameritrade.
Welcome back to Cleveland, Ohio, Jacobs Field, and the site for Game 4 of the 1997 American League Championship Series, with the Indians up 2-1. Well, we've been promoting this toward the end of the regular season and throughout the postseason so far. And just moments ago, we had the $1 million Gillette Strike Zone Challenge. Kevin Devine from Norwalk, Connecticut. He had the opportunity, if he could throw a strike, coached by Hall of Famer Raleigh Fingers. He throws a strike, gets $1 million. What would be going through your mind at this point? Well, here's what Kevin did. After thinking about it for a moment, just a little low and away. Just a little low and away. And no $1 million for Kevin Devine, but a good effort nonetheless, and he ends up with $50,000 as a consolation prize for being the grand prize winner of the Gillette Strike Zone Challenge.
That's amazing, because yesterday, pitchers on that same mound struck out 33 batters.
And he missed just a little bit low, which is probably what we can anticipate from Scott Erickson tonight. Sinkers down low.
Everything is just one gigantic segue. That means it's time for the starting lineup. For the Baltimore Orioles, they will lead it off with Brady Anderson in center field. Roberto Alomar batting second at second. Geronimo Barreau is in right field. The DH moving up to the 4 spot is Harold Baines, hitting .375 in this ALCS. Batting in the 5 position is Paul Merrill. Cal Ripken is at third, hitting 6th. B.J. Surhoff bats 7th. Lenny Webster is hitting 8th. And batting 9th at short, Mike Bordick, who has really had a strong postseason. As you look at the defense for the Cleveland Indians, 4 double plays turned yesterday early behind Oral Hershiser, who gave his team 7 strong innings, shutout innings. Looked like he would win his 9th career postseason game, but that run in the 9th inning for the Orioles sent us eventually to the 12th sent us to that squeeze play in which Marquise Grissom was safe, and the Indians took a 2-1 lead. And here comes 21-year-old Jaret Wright. This kid was 2-0 in the division series against the world champion New York Yankees, and he is as big a reason as the Indians have for being here in the 1997 ALCS.
And you're going to see a high-riding fastball from Jaret Wright. Get a look at his numbers on the season. I mentioned the other night, I think one thing that Jaret Wright has to be careful of is overconfidence, and I don't mean that in a negative way. A lot of times with a hitter, if you hit a couple of home runs without really trying to hit home runs, you say, geez, that was easy. Watch how many I hit when I try to hit home runs. Eventually you go in the tank. Jaret Wright has won 2 games in the postseason, just going out doing what comes naturally to him. He has to avoid over-pitching in this ball game, trying to do too much.
Davey Johnson has said that his Oriole lineup loves to hit against power pitchers, and that's what Jaret Wright is, a 2- and 4-seamer. The 4-seamer will be high in the strike zone. It's most effective right around the letters, and hitters have to lay off those pitches. And I mean big league poise, and he showed that in Game 2 and the clincher, Game 5 against the New York Yankees.
Worth pointing out that the Baltimore Orioles, one of the best fastball hitting teams in baseball. They have a lot of guys. Davey Johnson has a lot of guys that can pound that fastball. Well, they will get plenty of them here tonight from Jaret Wright. One other thing to point out before we get underway here in Game 4, when the umpires took the field just before we hit air, there was a standing ovation here at Jacobs Field in Cleveland for the men in blue. The umpires last night, really yesterday afternoon and last night, so vital in this game. And I think it's fair to say, if you want to put a capper on that missed squeeze bunt by Vizquel, I think it's fair to say for everybody who's watched that replay from every different angle, I think it's fair to say the umpires got the call right.
I think so, and we have viewed that thing more than a radiologist views most x-rays.
As we get going here in Game 4, we remind you this broadcast is also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. We have dissected that play so many different ways, trying to put a highlight on the baseball, magnifying that play at the plate. John Hirschbeck, we believe, got it right. Brady Anderson leads it off and watches ball 1 from Jaret Wright.
That's amazing what the people downstairs can do with all the computer-generated images, tracking the ball as it came to home plate to see if it changed direction. And as you said, as near as we can figure, it was not fouled.
Brady Anderson is jammed, and he floats one into right for Manny Ramirez, 1 away.
Count 2 balls and a strike. Last night, bottom of the 12th inning and 1 out. Did the ball hit the bat? It did not appear to, and that is the best angle that we have had. No change of direction. Usually if it's a foul tip, it'll go up slightly. It did not appear from that angle that the ball went up at all. There's Lenny Webster starting at tonight's game.
Roberto Alomar grounds to short. Vizquel 2 away.
And a footnote to that squeeze play, the pitch before, Tim, Webster was struck on the right shoulder with a foul ball. That caused the delay that precipitated the squeeze bunt. Webster's had problems with an elbow this year, took the foul tip off the right shoulder last night. It'll be interesting to see how he throws in this ball game. Once again, as we've said in every game, Mike Hargrove said they're going to run if they get opportunities.
2 out in a blink against Jaret Wright here in the first inning, and here's Geronimo Baroa. And there's a strike over the inside corner. Baroa started in Game 1 of this ALCS. Here he is back in the lineup in Game 4. To the left side and foul for strike 2, and Jaret Wright 1 pitch away, 1 strike away from a quick and easy and uneventful first inning. Wright hitting 97 miles per hour with that 0-2 pitch. Two and 2.
Fans here in Cleveland continuing to treat every inning like the ninth.
Jaret Wright picks up where he left off in the division series. 1/2 inning, game 4, no score. Scott Erickson, his second start of this 1997 ALCS. Boy, was he good in game 1. Here's the lineup he will deal with for the Cleveland Indians. Biff Roberts will lead it off at second base with Omar Vizquel batting second and short. Manny Ramirez is in right field. Jim Thome is cleaning up this season against right-handers, hit 36 of his 40 home runs. David Justice, the DH. Matt Williams at third. Sandy Alomar, the catcher. Brian Giles in left. And rounding out the lineup, he's been involved in just about everything in this series, Marquise Grissom. How about the defense for the Orioles? We highlight Cal Ripken. Not only 0 errors so far in this ALCS, but a play in last night's game, and we're just going to start referring to it as last night's game, to save it in the 11th inning. The Orioles would, however, lose in the 12th, and here's right-hander Scott Erickson. The numbers during the regular season: a 16-game winner for the Orioles, and 1 pitch. Chopped back to Scott, and Roberts is gone on the ground out 1-3.
And on the first pitch of the ball game by Scott Erickson, he shows the Indians about the way he's going to work tonight. 75%, or 3 out of 4, pitches that are hit fair against Erickson are hit on the ground because of that sinking fastball. A wicked slider, more apt to be hit in the air, changing speeds a little more often this year, and if the Indians get on, as Joe said earlier, they'll run against him.
There's a ball to Omar Vizquel, who is hitless in this ALCS. 9 out of 29 in the postseason.
Airmails it all the way to the backstop. Nobody on base. Lenny Webster just wants to make sure he doesn't get hit again. He's had a rough series behind the plate, getting whacked with foul tips. Of course, the play that ended the game yesterday, or last night, or this morning, whenever that was.
It feels like all 3. 1 ball, 1 strike, and now strike 2 on Vizquel. He's in the hole.
Well, Bob, you bringing up Lenny Webster getting hit last night, and there was about a 3 or a 4-minute delay. Remember the 1995 World Series, Cleveland and the Atlanta Braves, and Bobby Cox making a statement. This, of course, is game 3 of the ALCS, and that was when Lenny Webster was hit last night. We'll tell you what Bobby Cox said about chaos and injuries.
A ball and 2 strikes on Vizquel, and now 2 out as Erickson gets his first strikeout of the night.
Bobby Cox went out to argue with Bruce Fleming 2 years ago, second base umpire, and the argument lasted about 4 or 5 minutes. He came back and the squeeze was put on the next pitch. Last night, after the visit by Davey Johnson and the Orioles trainer, Rich Bansell, about a 3 or 4 minute delay, the squeeze was put on the first pitch after that. Davey Johnson showing no tendency to pitch out, and Grissom awarded home on a steal.
2 out, nobody on for Manny Ramirez. Got a lot better swings here in game 3. Trying to get dialed in, but still in the postseason, hitting only 188. Erickson falls behind 2-0.
In game 1 of the series, Erickson gave up a few fly balls early in the game, but then through the middle part of the ball game, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th inning, he really settled in. Got a lot of ground ball outs. He seems to be settled in already in this ball game.
Two and 1. Manny Ramirez facing Erickson, who in game 1 went 8 strong innings, shutout innings, allowing only 4 hits along the way, and really was in complete control. Got the pitches up a little late, and that's when Davey Johnson pulled him in favor of Randy Myers. inside, a 2-out hit for Ramirez.
Manny Ramirez may match up better against Erickson because he's a good low ball hitter. Watch the sink on this pitch. Watch where it was. Down and in. That's his hot zone right there.
When we talked about this in game one, anytime you have a sinker ball pitcher on the mound, those ground balls can go through the hole as well. You rely heavily on your infield defense, but if that ball is hit to a hole, a lot of times you make the pitch you want to make, you get the results you want, but the batter ends up on first base nonetheless.
Now Jim Thome, who has only 4 official at-bats in this ALCS.
Jim Thome, like a lot of lefties, likes that ball down and in and over the middle of the plate. With that slightly open stance, he likes to pull the ball, susceptible up and in, low and away, and up and out over the plate.
The thing about Jim Thome is Jim Thome has great power the other way, particularly in this park. Only 325 down the left field line here at the Jake.
Don't know if you caught that mock cheer from the crowd here at Jacobs Field as Ramirez got back to the bag safely. Picked off in the 9th inning in last night's game 3. 2-0 now on Thome. Strike over the inside corner, 2-1.
This is what you were talking about, Tim. 44 base hits the opposite way, 33 to center, 59 to right, and with power to all directions.
And you can underline the word power. He has the ability to hit those embarrassing home runs for the opposing pitcher. 2 balls and a strike, getting out 3-1, and Erickson's working his way into first inning trouble.
We asked Davey Johnson if he was concerned with Erickson coming back on 3 days rest, and he said he was not concerned at all. He felt Erickson would be better working on 3 days rest because of the movement on that sinker. Erickson's a pitcher that he has to tell not to throw between starts.
3-1 to Thome. Off Erickson's glove to Alomar in the easy flip. Score at 1-4-6 in the 4th out. The Indians lead 1. We are through 1 inning. We will see Ripken in the 2nd. No score. We are through 1 scoreless inning here in Game 4 of the 1997 ALCS, with the Indians out in front of the Orioles 2-1. And while we work here in the American League, how about that game in the NLCS worked today in Game 5 by Levon Hernandez of the Florida Marlins. 15 strikeouts. He set that old LCS record that was set yesterday by Mike Messina.
Yeah, it was quite a performance. I'll tell you, the young man stepped up in a big way. Marlins lose Alex Fernandez. Steps right in there and acts like he owns the joint.
And now Atlanta faced with the task of trying to win their 3rd game of the NLCS against Kevin Brown.
Baines gets into one into right. Ramirez back to make the catch, 1 away.
Well, Baines jumps all over a high fastball from Jaret Wright, and it appeared that ball was headed for the corner. You can see it hooking, but Manny Ramirez stays with it, makes a nice running catch on the warning track.
No missteps allowed there by Manny Ramirez. He went right to it. That's the 1st out, and now with the bases empty, here's Palmeiro. 0-2. out here in the second.
If you throw Rafael Palmeiro a fastball, you have to keep it in like that. Slider misses, and the 1-2 pitch inside corner.
So the first 5 have been retired in order. That, of course, includes the loud out made by Baines, and now that streak is broken as Ripken gets a base hit to right. Ripken continues to shine in the postseason. We mentioned it earlier. And in the bottom of the 11th inning with nobody out. How about this play? Down the line as Randy Myers had entered. Ball hit by Kevin Seitzer, and that sent the game to the 12th. Of course, Myers had to get the next 2 out. But he did, and along with that good defense, came into this game 10 out of 28, now 11 out of 29 at the plate. Ball 1 on Surhoff.
You know, Joe, you mentioned earlier the Orioles have a lot of good fastball hitters on their club, and I think this guy right here, B.J. Surhoff, is going to be a big factor in this ball game tonight. A very good high fastball hitter from the left side of the plate.
2-0.
He's got the count in his favor right now. He looks in that spot. High ball hitters look up, and it's easy to look up to Jaret Wright in a lot of ways.
Blown right by him with 95 miles per hour.
That fastball was away. That had some tailing action. Was about waist high. Alomar sitting inside, tailing away. That was a 2-seamer right there.
Gets the inside corner, 2-2. And Surhoff didn't like the call.
Back with an 87-mile-an-hour changeup. Better than a lot of guys' fastballs.
Ripken will go at first. 3-2 to Surhoff. Into right center field in trouble. It'll plug the gap and head for the wall. Ripken is waved home. He'll score. And Surhoff is indeed a big part of this game. He knocks home the first run here in Game 4.
In my opinion, the mistake in that sequence of pitching was the 2-2 changeup. Catchers are trained to call for the pitch that the pitcher more often gets over on a 2-2 count. 2-2, there's still some doubt as to what the pitch is going to be. 3-2, Surhoff knew he was going to get the fastball, shoots it to right central for the first run of the ball game.
So the 2-out hit by Ripken. He was on the move, and then the RBI double by Surhoff. Now the batter, Lenny Webster. Ball 1.
Also missing with that changeup on the 2-2 count. Runs the count to full. The runner's going to be off and going with the pitch.
Right.
Chances are Ripken would not have been able to score on that ball hitting the gap had he been taking a regular lead off first base.
Webster breaks his bat, checks on Vizquel, and that will end the inning. But a little 2-out rally by the Orioles, down 2-1. It was started by Ripken. He was driven in by Surhoff.
97 American League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Miller Lite, who reminds you that anything can happen at Miller time. By Mazda, come see what happens when a car company has more engineers and fewer accountants. Mazda. By Oral-B, the brand more dentists use themselves. And by Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Jaret Wright with a fastball inside to Lenny Webster and absolutely shatters his bat. See the barrel going. He's got the handle in his hand. Another little sliver goes down the third base line. Surhoff tries to get in Vizquel's way to perhaps distract him in his pursuit of catching that ground ball, but I don't think you can distract Omar Vizquel.
Lenny left with that tent peg you were talking about the other night, right?
There's David Justice leading it off for the Indians with Williams and Alomar to follow. Erickson back to work now, has a 1-run lead and deals ball 1. We talk about Vizquel. Everybody's starting to talk about Vizquel and some of the things he's starting to invent out at shortstop. Getting creative as he hits the climb of his career. That's foul. 1 ball, 1 strike off the bat of Justice.
Yeah, the physical things that he does on the field are impressive enough. He makes all the plays. He makes a lot of plays he shouldn't make. But it's the things that he does mentally to stay in the ball game and to keep his pitcher in the ball game. The attempted pickoffs, calling off outfielders on pop-ups, catching him over his shoulder. He seems to always be in the game looking for some kind of an edge.
Ball and 2 strikes now on Justice, who has 3 hits in this ALCS. Two and 2. Okay, I got 2 ex-big leaguers with me. What is that?
Well, it appears to have a couple of ball bearings on that blue thing that he's rubbing on the palm of his hand right there.
Justice drives one into right for a leadoff hit.
Getting back to your question, that may be a way of alleviating a bone bruise on Manny Ramirez's hand. A lot of times the trainers will use a square edge pencil and roll it back and forth to try to alleviate a bone bruise. As you see the slider from Erickson get roped into right field by Dave Justice.
We'll just keep that mystery out there and maybe revisit it as the night progresses. There's Matt Williams. 4 hits in this series, an RBI, 4 out of 12. That's inside for ball 1.
We should have our own team doctor up here. Own team doctor to explain things like that. Did he go? No.
Well, it appears to have a series of ball bearings there. You can see him rolling around. A lot of times guys get those bone bruises deep in the palm of their hand when they get jammed badly at the plate.
Everything's ball bearings these days. You know that. I could watch that all night. I don't know about you.
Is it the ball bearings or the strawberries?
1 on, nobody out, 1-0 to count, and now 1-1 on Matt Williams.
Well, it figures Erickson's going to go after Matt Williams with a variety of sliders, different speeds tonight. Williams is another guy that's a very good low ball hitter from the middle of the plate in. That sinker from Erickson, that's where it's going to end up more often than not when he throws it to a right-handed hitter. Consequently, I would guess he's going to throw a lot of sliders to Matt Williams tonight.
Trying to get around a leadoff hit here in the second.
There it is, down and in. You aim that sinker for the middle of the plate, and the tailing sinking action is going to end up in that hot zone, down and in.
Hard hit to center. Anderson. Diving catch for the first out, and back to first is Justice.
Matt Williams probably thinking there is no justice. I smoked this ball. It was a low sinker over the middle of the plate. He crushed it. It's tailing away from Brady Anderson, and watch the play.
That ball fooled Brady Anderson a little bit. He appeared to be in pretty good position at the last minute. The ball really seemed to take off away from him. Leaves his feet and makes a nice tumbling catch.
And you're talking about a guy who's not 100% healthy, or at least that's the report that we get. A deep muscle pull in right side of his groin, which was a factor in game 2. Check on Justice. Here's Alomar. Sandy hitless in this ALCS. Really, Tim, you and I were talking about it, putting down the numbers for this game. Neither team really hitting a lick in this ALCS so far.
Baltimore Orioles with a .210 average, and the Indians batting .160 in the first 3 games.
Talk about Brady Anderson in game 2. That's the effort where he ends up pulling that groin a bit, and then later popped up running the bases. But able to answer the call night after night with Davey Johnson putting his name on that lineup card. And Davey Johnson will tell you he didn't want any kind of a revolt. That's why he's willing and able to put Brady Anderson's name on that lineup card night after night. 1 on, 1 out, and they'll look over at Justice.
Yeah, when the media asked Davey about Brady Anderson's availability after that injury, he said it would take an eclipse or something like that to get Brady out of the lineup.
Alomar into deep center field. Anderson back. 2-1 Cleveland.
People are mistaken when they think that every ball that is hit out of the ballpark is a mistake. That ball had some pretty good downward movement on it. It was on the outside corner, and Alomar smoked it, his first hit of the league championship series, and it was a big one.
Well, Scott Erickson is not fooling anybody in this inning. 3 very hard hit balls so far, the first 3 hitters. Williams retired on the line drive to the gap in right center.
Now Giles takes a ball. That is the 3rd career postseason home run for Alomar and his first in LCS play. That's well hit to left field and out of the reach of Surhoff. Giles digging for a double. And there with 1 out here in the 2nd.
The Indians are approaching Erickson much better in this game than they did in game 1. 2 balls hit to center field, and now Giles going to left.
And you can see the action on that ball as it tailed away from B.J. Surhoff, unable to come up with it. Well, you're right, Tim. Very good approach that time from Giles. Stayed right on that pitch. Didn't try to pull it. You play right into a sinker ball pitcher's hands when you try to pull that sinker down low and away. Giles goes the opposite way.
First hit for Giles in this LCS and only his 2nd in this postseason. And after a visit by Ray Miller, the pitching coach, Erickson, who was given up a 1-run lead, has Giles at 2nd with 1 out, and will deal with Marquise Grissom. Everything has been hit hard in this inning. Runner at 2nd, 1 out, and a strike to Grissom.
If you think baseball is not a game of redemption, think about last night's game and Marquise Grissom. 4 strikeouts. He lost the ball. That was a double by Brady Anderson to tie the game, and then scored the winning run in the 12th.
Dave Nelson, the first base coach, had this to say to Brian Giles.
Hey, just be aware that balls might bounce into the dirt. Kick away, you advance on the ball, all right?
A good point to make with a sinker ball pitcher on the mound. Giles at second with one out, and now strike two on Grissom.
As a base runner, you really have to anticipate. You know what that pitcher is going to throw. You know in various counts what pitches he's liable to go to. Anticipate that ball in the dirt, get a good jump, and try to advance to third base. Particularly here with one out in the inning.
A ball and two strikes on Grissom.
Grissom more of a pull hitter. That's a deceptive spray chart because he likes the ball inside. A lot of times when he's fooled or has a broken bat hit, those are the ones he goes to right. But primarily, he's a left center type hitter.
Back up the middle, stabbed by Erickson. He guides it to first for the second out.
Sinking fastball from Erickson. Grissom only able to hit the top half of the ball and pound it down into the ground in front of home plate. That's the desired result for that sinker down low in the zone. See the downward movement of that ball? Just can't get it in the air when it's down there below the knees.
Now it's Bit Roberts at the plate. A little pop-up into right. Baroa in to make the catch, and the Indians get two on the home run by Sandy Alomar. Back for inning number 3 after this from your local Fox station. Welcome back for the third inning here in Cleveland. Tonight's overhead shots are courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, based in Pompano Beach, Florida. At the controls is Captain Larry Chambers from Lighthouse Point, Florida. All the captains, all the pilots seem to be from the state of Florida, don't they?
Yeah, you mentioned that the other day. Lighthouse Point. That sounds like a place you'd want to go on vacation.
Really does.
Hang out with Larry.
Hang out with Larry.
There you go.
Mike Bordick leads it off. Took a strike, now a ball that barely missed. 1-1. Wear a thick coat and write a mystery novel. Bordick, 5 out of 18 in the postseason. He went around, strike 2.
This ball inside, when you think about it, what are they saying in the Baltimore dugout? They're saying, make Wright get the ball down. Do not swing at the ball around the letters.
Strikeout number 3.
Painting like that outside corner. How did he get there? The first pitch is strike. The slider just misses, and then the check swing. But watch this pitch. Nobody's going to hit that pitch.
Boy, Wright seems to have tremendous command tonight. The first 2 games we saw him pitch in the postseason, he was a little bit erratic, trying to overthrow the ball from time to time, but really hitting spots well in the early going tonight.
That is crushed into right. Forget about it. A home run by Brady Anderson to tie this game at 2. Manny Ramirez never turned around. And a 2-2 game here in the third inning.
Well, if it's been your job to scout the Orioles throughout the postseason, you have to make a note. Do not throw Brady Anderson a first pitch breaking ball. You cannot fool him with that pitch. He's got such great plate coverage. Keeps the ball fair to right field. Just a blast off the sign out there in right field.
So Anderson ties this game with his second home run of this ALCS and his third of the postseason. And now Alomar's up on the count 2-0.
Matter of fact, Brady Anderson hit a slider off Chad O.J. to lead off the game that the Orioles won. That was game 1 behind Erickson. They won it 3-0.
The 2-0 to Alomar is low, 3-0. Go again, and a 1-out walk. First walk handed out by Jaret Wright.
Sandy Alomar holding the ball. Mike Hargrove wants to hold a conference with home plate umpire Durwood Merrill. But of course, if you argue balls and strikes, you are gone. That is an automatic ejection. Sandy Alomar, whenever you see a catcher hold the ball like that and then kind of turn his head toward first base, he is questioning the calls from the home plate umpire, trying not to show him up.
Now into the heart of the lineup for the Orioles. Here's Baroa. Hard hit to third. Diving stop, Williams. And the force out at second. 2 out.
Tremendous play by Matt Williams. Watch how quickly he gets to his feet and gets in a position to throw. On the ground right there. Gets rid of the ball quickly to Biff Roberts. He plays it like a first baseman, stretches out to make sure and get the force at second.
And now with 1 on, 2 out, it's Harold Baines who hit a rocket to right. Caught by Ramirez for the first out in the second. Two 2-0 from Jaret Wright.
Davey Johnson again telling us before the game that his lineup loves these types of pitchers, hard throwers. Jaret Wright with a 95-mile-an-hour fastball and a hard slider.
And a 3-0 count on Harold Baines. Wright is starting to fall behind hitters. Something he's done here in the third inning, something he didn't do in the first two.
That's kind of what a home run will do to a young pitcher, scares him out of the strike zone.
The 3-0 to Baines. Into deep right field, and another home run here in the third inning. The 2-run shot, and it's a 4-2 Oriole lead. Well, if the first one scared him out of the strike zone, we'll wait and see what the second one does to 21-year-old Jaret Wright.
Well, a veteran hitter like Harold Baines, Davey Johnson chooses to let him go 3-0, knowing that Harold Baines will have enough discipline not to swing at a bad ball. It's a fastball inside part of the plate. Boy, as soon as I said that Jaret Wright seemed to be hitting his spots better tonight, he started hitting the Oriole bats.
So the 38-year-old Harold Baines tags the 21-year-old Jaret Wright, and it's a 4-2 Oriole lead in the third. And now with the bases empty and 2 out, here's Palmeiro. That's crushed into deep right center. Is it the third of the inning? It is. And it's a 5-2 Oriole lead. That is the second time that has happened this postseason. We were there at Yankee Stadium when the Yankees did it to the Cleveland Indians. This didn't happen consecutively, but 3 in 1 inning. And it's a 3-run Oriole lead.
And again, it appeared to be on a breaking ball. You can see the spin on that slider right there. Just hangs up out over the plate for Rafael Palmeiro.
Now Ripken takes a strike.
You could see that quarter spin on that slider. It was not tightly wrapped by young Jaret Wright. Those things catches don't catch too often. You could see that. Watch the quarter spin, the loose spin. Well, we can't tell from that angle. We'll try to get that original angle that we had for you. That loose spin.
Strike 2 now on Ripken. And this crowd reminding young Jaret Wright that they're still behind him. It's early, third inning. It's a 3-run Oriole lead. And a 2-2 count on Ripken. Now a full count.
Here's that slider once again, right into your living room. See that loose spin right there? That's called a quarter spin. And catchers rarely catch them. Usually a fan catches a ball like that.
Now a 2-out walk to Ripken. 2 walks in the inning, 3 home runs in the inning. And now B.J. Surhoff, who drove home the first run of the night with an RBI double in the second, digs in.
Yeah, the tighter the spin on that slider, the sharper and later the break. The looser the spin, the ball tends to get a little bit more round, a little bit more off speed, and very hittable.
Brian Anderson getting ready. That slider to Palmeiro, more of the Susan B. Anthony variety. 1 on, 2 out for Surhoff, and that's foul. 1-1. A little bigger denomination for you.
I think sliders like that were minted a long time before the Susan B. Anthony dollar.
Surhoff with 1 on, 2 out. That's down the line and left. Trouble if it's fair. It is. We will watch Ripken run. Headed for third and held there by Sam Perlazzo, and it's second and third, 2 out. And Jaret Wright can't get anybody out. He has hit a rut here in the third inning, and we'll see if he will throw another pitch here in game 4.
Bob, you called it about B.J. Surhoff being locked in against Jaret Wright. First a double to right center, now a double down the left field line. The carom nicely played by left fielder Brian Giles.
Now second and third with 2 out. And Lenny Webster digs in. Jaret Wright coasted through the first inning and the first 2 in the second, but a 2-out rally. 2-out RBI double by Surhoff. Plated the first run. And this has been a nightmare third inning with a couple of walks, a double, 3 home runs. And Webster has a chance to make it an enormous third inning for the Orioles. Williams on the charge, a 2-hopper, and it's over. And Jaret Wright keeps his team in the game as the Orioles lead 2. They have stranded 3 tonight. They batted around in the third, hit 3 over the boards, and lead by 3. Jaret Wright just left the dugout, the Indians dugout, and as Brian Anderson continues to warm up out in the Indians bullpen, you have to believe Jaret Wright's night is finished because of these 3 swings.
You can see where Sandy Alomar was set up. The first slider to Brandy Anderson was supposed to be down and in. It was out over the plate. Fastball to Baines was supposed to be away. It was on the inside corner. And then Rafael Palmeiro just clobbered a hanging slider.
And really, after that first inning in game 2 of the division series where Jaret Wright walked 3 and struggled, it's the first time we've seen him really get hit hard. And it's amazing what he's accomplished in this postseason, but that third inning really, well, I said nightmare before, and it's almost worthy of saying it again, and something that these Indians fans were not thinking of when they entered Jacobs Field tonight. A ball and 2 strikes on Vizquel leading off. Hard hit, but right at Bordick. Vizquel's 0 for 2 and 0 for 13 in the LCS.
Talking about what a difference a day makes. In yesterday's game, a game that went 12 innings, there were 2 extra base hits, 2 doubles by the Orioles. The Indians had none. A double by Brady Anderson on the ball lost by Grissom, a double by Geronimo Baroa. And tonight already there have been 4 home runs and 7 extra base hits.
Brady Anderson hit the first of the 3 home runs in the top of this 3rd inning, which has produced a 5-2 lead. But I'll say this for Jaret Wright. He didn't fold up the tent with 2nd and 3rd 2 out. He got that final out to keep it a 3-run game. Ramirez now 1-1.
This game's certainly different from the first 3. Check the team averages coming in to game 4. All pitchers thus far in the first 3 games, all hitters here tonight.
2 balls and a strike as Erickson falls behind Ramirez.
Of course, a big factor in that game yesterday. It started in the afternoon with the shadows on the field, and even Mike Messina said it was a huge factor with the shadows on the field. The batters couldn't appear to pick up the ball out of the pitcher's hands. A lot of strikeouts early.
Ramirez just able to get out of the way and then pitch up and in. 2-1.
That ball really missing its mark right there. Lenny Webster sitting outside, and the ball really sinking in. Great movement on Scott Erickson's fastballs.
That was ball 3. Now 3-1. 1 out, nobody on. Down the right field line and fair. Digging it out is Baroa, and that's a 1-out double for Ramirez. Ramirez is starting to get locked in.
Well, you mentioned it, Joe. He started to show signs yesterday of swinging the bat much better. If you can hit this pitch down the right field line, that says you're staying on the ball, not pulling off, not trying to do too much with the pitch. Well, that's a pitch that pitcher thinks should never be hit. A sinker down below the knees on the outside part of the plate. Ramirez goes right with it.
And now he's at second with 1 out for Thome. These Indians pounded out a club record 220 home runs during the regular season. They are more than capable of getting back in this game, down by only 3 in the 3rd. Thome, however, has yet to go deep in the postseason. Just 3 out of 20. 2-0. These fans here at Jacobs Field have been terrific during the division series with the Yankees. Packed in game after game, and now with the Orioles, ALCS, and they look at ball 3.
No thought of pitching around Thome. That was just a slider that missed inside. Davey Johnson giving Harold Baines the hit sign, 3-0. We'll see if Mike Hargrove gives it to Thome. One would assume.
And now Webster wants to talk to Erickson.
That could be a telltale sign when a catcher goes out to talk to a pitcher when they're confused about a 3-0 sign. Usually 3-0 is a fastball right down Broadway. And if I were Thome, I'd be looking for the slider right now. I think that's what Erickson wants to throw. It's almost a free swing situation. You look in that smaller imaginary box. If it's not there, even if it's a strike, take it.
Ball 4, and it's 2 on, 1 out in the 3rd with Justice coming up.
Baltimore Orioles have used a pickoff play throughout the year at second base where the pitcher never looks back to second base. He gets a sign from the catcher. The catcher, in this case Lenny Webster, drops the glove. That's the pitcher's sign to wheel and throw to second base. Manny Ramirez has a tendency to go to sleep out there on the bases from time to time.
Check swing for strike one on Justice.
Yeah, one would think, Bob, that after the pickoff in the 9th inning of yesterday's game, representing the potential winning run, you could see him nod, third base coach Jeff Newman telling him, I've got the shortstop. The shortstop breaks, you'll hear me.
Tying run at the plate. 1-1 on Justice. Well, we keep referring to Manny Ramirez getting picked off, and here it is. For the first out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Second time he's been picked off first in the postseason. Back in the '95 World Series as well. Game 2 by Lopez, the catcher of the Atlanta Braves. That's strike 2 on Justice.
Bob, you asked Mike Hargrove today, was something on yesterday, the hit and run sign? He said no.
It looked like Ramirez was leaning like he was trying to get a jump towards second base, almost as if it was a hit and run play, but he said no, there was nothing on.
Justice set up at a ball and 2 strikes. To the left side, Ripken, heck of a play. Out at second, they got them both. Beautifully turned by Ripken and Alomar. After 3 here in game 4, 5-2 Baltimore.
In this ALCS, we are privileged to see some of the finest defense on the left side of the infield for both teams. Watch this play by Ripken. Full extension, good throw to Alomar, good pivot by Alomar to end the inning.
And the element of surprise there, Dave Justice normally pulls the ball on the ground. Very rarely will he hit a ground ball to the opposite field. Ripken not caught by surprise. You mentioned that full extension. Those arms just seem to get longer as he gets closer to the ball. Great play.
2 Gold Gloves at shortstop. And really settling in at third base in his first full season there. Ian Bordick. Solid combination on that left side, to say the least, and you can say the same for Vizquel and Williams of the Indians. Here is Bordick facing the new pitcher, left-hander Brian Anderson. Garrett Wright is finished after 3 innings. Strike 2 from Anderson, who threw 2 shutout and hitless innings game 1 of this ALCS.
See the 22 strikeouts. Not a power pitcher by any stretch of the imagination. He depends on his defense to work behind him, hit his good spots, try to take some of the sting out of the opposition's bats.
0-2 on Bordick leading off. Anderson was not eligible for the division series. Added to the active roster between series. And here he is working in his second game during this ALCS. Still 1-2.
And Mike Hargrove told us that when Anderson was added to the postseason roster, the reason was situations exactly like this. When the Cleveland starter, a right-hander, got knocked out early, bring in Anderson because Davey Johnson has a tendency to flip-flop his lineup.
Now 2-2.
Hopefully force Davey Johnson into bringing in his right-handed hitters and then not having them available for later in the ball game.
And if he doesn't do that, he has Anderson pitching to the left-handers in the lineup.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and Bordick into shallow center. Grissom a late break, but there for the basket catch, 1 out. Brady Anderson has already made his presence felt here in game 4. This diving catch for one of the prettier plays of the postseason, and then this, the first of 3 home runs hit by the Orioles in the 3rd. And his second of this ALCS. missing the left-hander and taking strike one.
I think Brady thought that ball was inside. It's interesting to note that Brady Anderson becomes more of a straightaway hitter against left-handed pitching. He pulls right-handers straight away against left-handers. And sure enough, that's the Indian outfield alignment. Even after the home run off the right-hander Wright, the Indians outfield is straight away for Anderson.
Two and one from Anderson. Roberto Alomar will follow here in the fourth inning with the Orioles leading by 3. 3-1.
It's a little too far inside that time after getting ahead with a fastball on the inside corner. Brian Anderson missed with 2 breaking balls and tried to go back to that same slot inside but missed. But they're going to try to go in there again.
And they catch the corner, full count.
And Anderson thought it was inside again.
I'll say this for Durwood Merrill. He has been consistent on that inside pitch tonight. He's called that inside corner a strike to every hitter, at least every left-handed hitter in the ball game tonight.
That's foul.
Brian Anderson, one of the few left-handed pitchers who will throw a changeup to a left-handed batter. The reason that most left-handers don't like to do that is because that changeup goes into that volatile down and in area to lefties. Easy pitch to hammer.
Still a full count on Brady Anderson. A one-out walk. And the third walk handed to the Orioles here tonight. This is game 4. Don't forget that tomorrow it's pivotal game 5 of the American League Championship Series as Scott Kamenicki and the Orioles take on Chad O.J. and the Indians. Don't miss all the action beginning live at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific right here on Fox. Alomar takes a strike. Bothered by a sore left shoulder. The reason why this switch hitter has hit predominantly left-handed throughout the second part of the year, even against left-handed pitching, as he pops it into shallow right for Ramirez. 2 out.
Some of the things that left-handed hitters on the bench are thinking right now. Rafael Palmeiro, Harold Baines. Anderson came inside to Brady Anderson. Tried to get him out. He walked him on a 3-2 pitch. And then Roberto Alomar was jammed on that inside fastball. And the one thing you try to do as a pitcher, you try not to get into habits and any kind of pattern. All the left-handers trying to gauge how Anderson's going to pitch them, particularly Harold Baines, who's on deck following Baroa.
Baroa at the plate, 1 on, 2 out here in the 4th. Anderson nearly picked off by Brian Anderson.
Pretty good move this time for Brian Anderson. The move before this was not a real good move. Now he breaks out his good one. You can see the hand just gets in under the tag of Jim Thome. A lot of lefties will do that. They'll show you a very mediocre move once, maybe twice, and then put the good move on you.
That was close to a balk right there. The one before, actually, I thought the right foot went behind the left leg. That was another shot where Brian almost balked. If the right foot goes behind the left leg of a left-handed pitcher, he's committed to go home and cannot go to first.
Ball 1 to Baroa. against Anderson. Base stealers 3 for 8. Picked off 3. Nearly got Brady Anderson. He's at first with 2 out. Big swing by Baroa, 1-1.
Well, Brian Anderson did not have a balk called against him during the regular season. A lot of those left-handed pitchers, they flirt with the borderline. They know what a balk is and what they can get away with, and if the umpire lets them get to that borderline, they'll just go right on across it.
That's as close to the borderline as you want to go. And I bet there are a lot of baseball people watching this game around the country going, that's a balk.
You could get dual citizenship with this move. See the right foot? Looks like it's behind the left leg. Awfully close.
Baroa shoots one to right. Ramirez back to make the grab to end the top of the 4th inning. Anderson, 1 scoreless inning under his belt. Indians come to bat, down by 3. Now we're 3 shutout innings in this ALCS. 1 here tonight. Bottom of the 4th inning. Indians come to the plate with Williams, Alomar, and Giles trailing the Orioles by 3. Williams was the one robbed by Brady Anderson on that diving catch we showed you. The top of this inning, back in the 2nd. So 0 for 1 as he takes ball 1 low. Jammed, and Williams pops it up the right side for Alomar. 1 away. Right now, a Miller-Lite game break. Talked about it a bit earlier. The story today in baseball is Livan Hernandez. This, the one blemish on his record, a home run hit by Michael Tucker for the only run of Game 5 for the Atlanta Braves. Well, the Marlins went on to win that game 2-1 behind Livan Hernandez and his LCS record-tying 15 strikeouts. And now have a 3-games-to-2 advantage as that LCS heads back to Atlanta.
Off day tomorrow, and then Kevin Brown and Tommy Glavine match up on Tuesday night in hot Atlanta.
Alomar, a 2-run home run, his first time up, took a strike, and now a ball, 1-1. You look at what Sandy Alomar Jr. did his first 7+ seasons coming into this year. He has broken through here in 1997, and something that you brought up earlier in this season when we were doing an Indians game. The difference for Alomar now is that he's healthy. He's been healthy for an entire year.
Oh, absolutely. He's been able to go out and answer the bell when Mike Hargrove wants to put him in the lineup. Doesn't have those little nagging injuries. Every catcher is going to have a certain amount of little nagging injuries, but nothing that has kept him from performing up to the level he's done this year.
Chase that, and is Erickson's 2nd strikeout victim. 2 gone here in the 4th inning.
Nasty slider low and away. Matter of fact, we saw Sandy Alomar Sr. yesterday out on the field before the Indians took batting practice, and I asked him, come on, who are you rooting for? And he said, one of my sons will be in the World Series. It was a very neutral remark.
Here's Giles. He shoots one into right center field. Anderson can't cut it off. Giles digging for 2nd and is content with a 2-out stand-up double, his 2nd of the night.
Well, much like B.J. Surhoff for the Orioles, Brian Giles seems to be locked in here. It's a double to left field, his first at bat, a double to right center this time. Really staying on the ball well. Well, I got to believe Davey Johnson cringes every time he sees Brady Anderson leave his feet. You never know if he's going to get up or not.
I'd cringe if I left my feet. Anderson with the effort, but could not cut it off. It's going to be a double either way. And with Giles at 2nd, 2 out, here's Grissom. Strike one. We remind you this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without expressed written consent. Indians looking for a 2-out rally. Down by 3 in the 4th. One ball, one strike. Little play to center, might fall. Will fall and gets behind Brady Anderson. Giles scores. Grissom is headed to third. It's a 2-run game.
It looked to me like Brady Anderson thought he had a play on Brian Giles at home. When you're up by 3, you play a more passive form of defense. He's charging the ball like he has a chance to get Brian Giles. The way I saw it, the ball wasn't hit that well. You have no chance to get Giles. Play the single and stop Grissom at first base.
Giles was off at the crack of the bat. He was going to score easily even if Brady Anderson came up with that ball and made a strong throw home. I agree with you.
It's a single RBI E8 to allow Grissom to get to third, and now Big Roberts takes low, ball 1. So by playing it aggressively, Brady Anderson with the error puts a man in scoring position. It's Grissom at third with 2 out here in the 4th. 5-3 Orioles. 1-1 on Roberts.
There are 2 outs right there. Brian Giles, as Bob said, off with the crack of the bat. He scores easily, even looking back at Anderson. By charging that aggressively, he actually played the ball into a bad hop.
That's off the plate and tough for Alomar. Great play to end the 4th inning. That saved a run. Roberto Alomar, 6 Gold Glove awards in his trophy case, and you won't see a better play with 2 out. This ends the 4th. 5-3 Orioles. Bibb Roberts made a bid for a 2-out RBI infield hit, but he was robbed by Roberto Alomar. And now on the first pitch, Baines lines out to left, 1 away in the 5th.
You know, we said the Orioles' way was pitching, defense, and the big home runs. This is an example of the defense. Robbie Alomar charges this ball, makes a strong throw on the move, and Bibb Roberts with an ill-advised slide into first base on that play. You can always get there quicker running through the bag. I've never seen a sprinter in the Olympics dive for the finish line.
It's the second time we've seen Roberts do that in the postseason. And it took a terrific play by Alomar to end the inning. Get around that error by Brady Anderson. That saved a run. So it's a 2-run game, and Palmeiro at the plate with a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Advice to youngsters is you don't swim standing up and you don't slide on your belly.
1 out, nobody on, and low and away, 2-1. 2 balls and a strike. Palmeiro's jammed, and now 2-2.
That's what we were talking about the last inning. He tried to get inside to Brady Anderson, and then he jammed Alomar, and then he jams Palmeiro.
See that ball hitting down around the trademark, not able to get the bat head out in front of the plate and catch up to that inside fastball. Plus, it was a little up, a good location for that pitch.
This crowd wants out number 2 right here, and they won't get it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. home run for Palmeiro his last time up. Not only his first home run, but his first RBI the entire postseason. 2 out.
Well, Davey Johnson said he felt Rafael Palmeiro was trying to pull too much. You can see a pretty good hack at that fastball. Anderson misses up high. Breaking ball misses away. Gets jammed with a fastball in. Pushes him off the plate and then goes away with an off-speed breaking ball. If a hitter's at the plate thinking pull, he's going to be susceptible a couple of different places, and the Indians have been able to go right at those locations.
2 out, nobody on, and the ball to Ripken. That up and in, low and away formula has been working since Abner Doubleday had this idea about a game he'd like to try out.
And Alexander Cartwright.
I knew you'd come up with that guy's name. I had no idea what it was. 2-0. Base is empty with 2 out. 2-1. Corner. Brian Anderson has been terrific since being added to this postseason roster. This crowd is back at Jacobs Field halfway through game number 4. Orioles by 2.
97 American League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by AT&T. It's all within your reach. By the company you count on wherever life takes you. General Motors, people in motion. By Aflac, ensuring over 40 million people worldwide. And by Oracle, the company that's enabling the information age through network computing.
Welcome back to Cleveland. We get into the bottom of the 5th inning. It will be Vizquel, Ramirez, and Tomey. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Indians, down by just a couple. 5-3 Orioles. Erickson back to work and a strike. The postseason hitting .290, hit .500 in the division series. Hitless in this LCS. Strike 2.
Had to be sitting on that slider inside. You're not going to hit a ball like that hard unless you're looking for it.
Erickson has struck out 2 and misses with ball 1. '29-year-old right-hander made his name with the Minnesota Twins. Traded to Baltimore in July of 1995. Still 1-2. We talked about how these two teams had combined for a little offense the first 3 games. Tonight, it is an offensive explosion. We've seen 4 home runs, 3 hit in 1 inning by the Orioles. Came back in the 3rd. The other belongs to Sandy Alomar, a 2-run shot in the bottom of the 2nd. Gave the Indians a short-lived 1-run lead.
I don't think these fans or either manager could stand another nail-biter after yesterday's ball game.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Still 2-2.
So many record sets, so many bizarre happenings in yesterday's game. The Orioles stranding 3 in the top of the 11th. Indians stranding 3 in the bottom of the 11th.
Again, the 2-2 to Vizquel. Behind the plate for Webster. Keeping 2 at a time.
Then he took the circuitous route to that pop-up and really didn't have enough time. Ball was not hit high enough to give him a chance to get under it. has to try to slide to make the play. Reason catchers do that is so they go feet first into the fence and not head first.
And those rubber warning tracks that they use on a lot of the modern fields don't allow you to slide smoothly into the attempted catch. You hit that rubber and your shin guards kind of grab and your cleats grab.
Now it's Ripken over near the Indian dugout. He's out of room, and it's still 2-2 on Vizquel. We talked about that memorable game 3. It was with all those records set.
Unbelievable.
The double plays turned by Cleveland, the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th innings. After Baltimore got the leadoff batter on, Orel Hershiser induced the Orioles to hit into double plays.
Nearly a 5-hour game, 33 strikeouts combined by the two sides. Tying a record as Vizquel pokes one into left. Sohoff is there, one away. We play game 4 down below. Hovering above Jacobs Field, one of America's most enduring corporate symbols, the Goodyear blimp. Today it's the Goodyear blimp Spirit of Akron, carrying on a 70-year tradition of flying over spectacular events. Not just sporting events, but spectacular events, which is what we had here yesterday. And who knows? Just a 2-run game here in game 4. Midway through it. Manny Ramirez is 2 for 2 with a single and a double. Ball 1.
We talked about Manny Ramirez being locked in. He's got a very unusual hitting style. He steps in the bucket a little bit with that front foot, but he still has great plate coverage and great power and drive to the opposite field. Normally guys that bail out that way don't cover the plate that well.
One of the great hitters of all time, Roberto Clemente, hit in similar fashion. And that was a tag on Manny Ramirez when he graduated from George Washington High in the Bronx. But he was another Roberto Clemente.
One out with the bases empty and the ball 2-1 to Ramirez.
See, the foot may lean toward third base, but the front shoulder is in there. That is the key to any hitter's success. Look how locked in that front shoulder is.
Crushed into deep left center. Goodbye.
Of the St. Louis Cardinals used to say that hitting is like highway construction or closed shoulders. And that's what that shoulder was. That left side was closed. The bat opened it up and he hit it a ton to left center field.
Seventh in his career, very young career for 25-year-old Manny Ramirez. Second of this ALCS. He went deep in game 2. Now Tony to the right side and through Palmeiro. A one-out hit and the tying run is on. Bob Brenly, this is not the same Scott Erickson we saw in game 1.
Oh, in game 1, he was working the lanes. He threw the sinker on the outside corner, sinker on the inside corner, was spotting his slider consistently throughout game 1. Then he just doesn't seem to have as good a command. He is making an occasional great pitch, but he's also making a lot of mistakes over the heart of the plate. Of course, it's probably too much to ask a guy to be locked in as Erickson was in game 1.
But it's now a 5-4 Oriole lead. 5th inning, tying run on, 1 out for David Justice. 3 straight hits for the Indians here in the 5th.
You talk about a ball being scalded. This is a low tracer hit by Justice to the left of Alomar. Robbie hardly had a chance to move. The ball was by him that quickly. And usually when a pitcher is getting hit this hard, the manager will send the catcher to the mound and buy some time. And that's what Davey Johnson did with Lenny Webster.
A 1-out home run by Ramirez, crushed into left center. A base hit to right by Thome, a base hit to right by Justice, and now Matthews and Arthur Rose get ready for the Orioles in their bullpen. And out comes Ray Miller, the pitching coach.
More buying of time right here.
You know, there's a real art to buying time for your bullpen. As you mentioned, Tim, you send the catcher out first. He stays out there till the umpire calls him back to home plate. Wait until the batter gets completely into the box, and then have your pitching coach come out, take his time getting to the mound, stay there until the umpire forces you to go back to the dugout.
Well, we came into this series talking about the Orioles bullpen, but it's been the Indians bullpen. It's made a big difference in this series. The first 3 games, an ERA of 0.87. In fact, only 1 run allowed in 10 1/3 innings pitched. And Anderson has added to it. Kept his team in the game, and now with 2 on, 1 out, down by a run, it's Matt Williams. Good pitch there from Erickson.
As we mentioned earlier, the way to go after Matt Williams, if you're Scott Erickson, is to keep that slider on the outside part of the plate. It's a pitch Matt's had trouble laying off of for years. There's a lot of hitters that have trouble laying off of that pitch right there. But he hasn't been able to consistently hit that spot with the breaking ball like he did in game 1.
Again, and strike 2. Sandy Alomar next. Thome the tying run. The go-ahead run is Justice at first with 1 out. Can't fool me 3 times, says Matt Williams, 1 and 2.
We talked about that front shoulder with Manny Ramirez. Matt Williams has an unusual style. Watch how he tries to keep his front shoulder in there. Watch his chin.
Resting on that left shoulder, and he lays off yet another slider low and away, and it's 2 and 2.
You could really see it pretty clearly then, trying to keep the shoulder in, because once more Erickson tries the slider low and away. That's 4 in a row to Williams.
Two to Williams. Breaking ball stayed up and in, full count.
That was not designed to be there. This is a hanger. Look at Webster sitting away. The pitch going inside. I don't think Mark Hargrove will send the runners here. With 1 out, 3 and 2 to Williams. Not after the first 2 swings.
Two out. And a big strikeout for the Orioles, and Scott Erickson is 3rd of the night.
Slider mania this at bat for Scott Erickson and Matt Williams. There's 2 in a row, 3 in a row. 4 of them on the outside part. He hangs one up on the inside part of the plate and then finishes him off with another good one.
2 on, 2 out. Sandy Alomar. He's homered. He's struck out. Still slider mania. It's the nickname of the mascot here in Cleveland. Slider. Two on, 2 out. Into left center field, a hit. Tomey scores to tie it in the 5th.
Not sending the runners on the 3-2 count to Matt Williams. Otherwise, it would have been a strike him out, throw him out. He held the runners. Williams struck out, but Sandy Alomar delivers a big 2-out base hit to left center field.
Scott Erickson has been KO'd here in the 5th. The Orioles' 3-run lead is gone. And now with runners at the corners and 2 out, and Brian Giles coming up, Davey Johnson will dip into the Oriole bullpen. We're in the 5th inning. That started this rally. And here in the 5th, the Indians have...
Ball hitter. That's his hot zone right there. Watch where this pitch is from Scott Erickson. Right in that zone. That is a zone you do not want to throw Manny Ramirez, or this happens.
1 point to make as Brian Giles digs in. He is 2 for 2 with a pair of doubles, but now facing a left-hander, Rhodes. In case you're wondering, well, maybe why isn't Tony Fernandez batting? We understand Bip Roberts will have to leave this game with a strained left knee, so they will need him later. Keeping Giles in the lineup and looking at ball 1 from Arthur Rhodes.
And this is not that bad of a matchup when you consider the fact that Arthur Rhodes is not able to throw the slider. He's had the problem with the muscle in his left forearm. He's just a fastball changeup pitcher right now.
2-0.
That's why Davey Johnson left Arthur in the game last night with Kevin Seitzer up there bunting. Arthur Rhodes could not throw the slider, so Seitzer was up there to try to bunt the high fastball. But don't look for that slider from Arthur Rhodes tonight.
Giles trying to give the Indians the lead, and a throw over to first, almost handcuffed Palmeiro. I think it surprised everybody over there. Two and 0 to Giles. 3-0. Three and 1. And now Alomar, the runner at first, will go. They play behind the runner. First and third, 2 out. Tie game. 3-2 pitch. Bases loaded. Grissom. They're hacking strike one.
Looked like it hit the right hand of Lenny Webster. We talked about it earlier. He has taken a pounding in the 2+ games that he has played. This off the mitt, the same place it hit him last night. The right shoulder is not protected. Chris Hoyles, the other Oriole catcher, was on the disabled list earlier in the year with the sprained medial collateral. So the Oriole catchers are just getting pounded.
This is the pitch before the squeeze bunt hit in the same spot. And now with the bases loaded, 2 out, the 0-1 to Grissom, strike 2. And Rhodes is not letting up to throw strikes at 95 miles per hour. Good numbers for Grissom with the bases loaded, as most good players have. 3 grand slams, and Fernandez will bat, take over for Roberts. Bases loaded, 2 out. 1-2.
This fastball at 97 miles an hour. Rhodes tries to overthrow it a little bit, gets a couple extra miles per hour, but loses a lot of direction on that pitch.
Grissom trying to put Cleveland out in front. In the dirt, to the plate, the runner is safe. Justice scores, and now here comes Alomar. 2-run score.
Davy Johnson may be talking to home plate umpire, perhaps thinking that David Justice, when he slid, impeded Lenny Webster. A ball off the shin guards, the throw to Webster. Arthur Rhodes knocks Arthur Rhodes down. That's perfectly legal. Webster slowing, going after the ball, and Alomar scores. Got to say, what about Lenny Webster? Why didn't he retrieve the ball after the ball was missed by Rhodes?
Because Justice laid on top of him.
Another bizarre play. You can see Justice is going to score right here. The flip to Arthur Rhodes. Webster had a problem getting the ball out of the glove. Now Justice gets out of the way and ends up laying on top of Lenny Webster. Cal Ripken Jr. comes in to cover home plate and try to get Alomar. 2-run score.
I think Justice and Webster both were getting down because there may have been a play at the plate.
Now the 2-2 to Grissom. Up the middle for Bordick. To his left to end a crazy 5th inning. A 4-run 5th inning. And a 2-run Indian lead through 5 in Game 4. Welcome back for the top of the 6th inning here in Game 4. Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, Bob Brenly with you. That wild pitch by Arthur Rhodes, which scored the first run, then on an error charge to Lenny Webster on that toss to the plate, allowed Alomar to score. We told you that Fernandez would take over for Bip Roberts, who has a strained knee. He's at second base, which improves the Indians' defense. And they have a 2-run lead here in the 6th inning for Brian Anderson, who right now is the pitcher of record for Cleveland, and he fires ball 1 high to B.J. Surhoff. 1-1 on Surhoff.
The last 2 games, a lot of weird things have happened around home plate for the Cleveland Indians. A steal of home by Marquise Grissom on a blown squeeze play last night.
Great play by Brian Anderson, 1 away.
a pitcher leave his feet to make a play on a ground ball. Normally, if he's got to dive for it, that means one of your infielders has a better play than you do. But Brian Anderson down on a knee, throws from a knee, and gets Surhoff at first base.
And as Lenny Webster is announced, quite a few of the fans give him a standing ovation here at Jacobs Field. He's been involved in two of the craziest plays you will see in postseason. And in about a span of 24 hours, two different games. 7-5 Indians in the sixth. And a 1-1 count on Lenny Webster. Strike two from Anderson, who has retired 6 in a row. Now 7. Just joining us here in the 6th inning, you've missed quite a bit. B.J. Surhoff put the Orioles out in front in the second. Sandy Alomar, a 2-run shot, put Cleveland out in front. In the bottom of the second, Baltimore 4 runs, 3 home runs in the top of the third. Grissom an RBI single in the 4th inning, and then that crazy play at the plate in the bottom of the 5th inning. A wild pitch and an error, plating 2 runs to make it a 2-run Cleveland lead.
That was the first changeup Arthur Rhodes threw in the inning. It was about a 56-footer. Very alert base running by both David Justice and Sandy Alomar.
That's strike 2 on Bordick, and back to that play at the plate.
Well, it's too hard to describe everything that happens here. The changeup in the dirt, Webster blocks it up the third base line. Bad flip to home plate. The ball goes into foul territory on the third base side. Rhodes retrieves, throws the Ripken covering home, not in time to get Sandy Alomar.
A ball and 2 strikes. Bordick stays alive.
You know, one of the interesting things that we missed the first time around was Derwood Merrill pointing to the ball. Why would he point to the ball? It was almost as though telling Arthur Rhodes or Lenny Webster where the ball was. Maybe telling himself where the ball was.
2 out, nobody on here in the top of the 6th inning. A ball and 2 strikes on Bordick. And into shallow center, Grissom has trouble, but able to recover to make the catch. 8 in a row retired by young Brian Anderson. Bottom of the 6th inning, 7-5 Cleveland. Bottom of the 6th inning, 7-5. The Indians out in front. They come to the plate. Our Aflac trivia question: who was the last player to steal home in a World Series game? That on the heels of Marquise Grissom and his steal of home in last night's game. Of course, an LCS game, but we asked the question about the last player to steal home in a World Series game is Tony Fernandez. He took over for Bip Roberts, who has a strained knee. Steps to the plate and slams one into center. A leadoff hit for Fernandez here in the 6th.
Players call this hitting right out of bed. His first at bat in the ball game. Been sitting on the bench for 6 innings. The first pitch he sees, he ropes into the gap in left center field. Brady Anderson, a good job. Seemed to get a late jump out there, but caught up to it and helped Fernandez to a single.
So the leadoff man on for the Indians. Leading 2 games to 1 and leading in this game 4, 7-5. We go back to something we brought up earlier about the bullpens. Cleveland Indians getting a lot out of Brian Anderson. Now 13 1/3 innings pitched in this ALCS for the Indians bullpen. Only 1 run allowed. And that was on that ball hit by Brady Anderson, lost in the twilight in last night's game by Grissom in center.
When that move was made at the end of the division series, I think everybody thought it was just a cosmetic move, maybe in case you needed an 11th pitcher. I don't even think John Hart, the general manager, Mike Hargrove, the manager, realized how important Brian Anderson would be in this ball game. He has restored order for the Indians.
The Orioles expecting the bunt with Vizquel at the plate. And another check on Fernandez. Perfect bunt by Vizquel. Sacrifice good, 3-4, and down to second, Tony Fernandez. So with a runner at second, 1 out. Manny Ramirez will walk to the plate. Right now a Miller-like game break. Greg Maddux on the mound again today for the Atlanta Braves, and Jeff Conine up the middle, off the mound, into center. And the Florida Marlins took a 2-1 lead, which they handed to Livan Hernandez, who struck out 15 today. Florida wins that game, Game 5, 2-1 over Atlanta. Take a 3-2 series lead in the NLCS. Manny Ramirez walks in. Lenny Webster holds up 4 fingers, and they will intentionally walk Ramirez.
Davey Johnson, knowing him for years as a National League manager, used to hate to issue an intentional walk. When the Mets won the World Series in 1986, they were far and away the last team in the National League in issuing intentional walks. But here, you're forced to. The way Ramirez is swinging the bat tonight with 2 left-handers coming up.
I really think Davey Johnson's playing with fire, leaving Arthur Rhodes in the game anyway. I mean, I think these will be his last 2 hitters regardless. When you have a pitcher on the mound that's limited to 2 pitches, a fastball and a changeup, I don't care how fast your fastball is, major league hitters are going to catch up.
And really, it's limiting him only to 1 pitch against the 2 left-handers because he's not going to throw the changeup to either guy. So they can get up there and look for the fastball.
It looked like Arthur Rhodes tried to throw a slider to Vizquel on the first pitch. It appeared it was supposed to be a slider, and he kind of shook out his left arm after throwing the pitch, but that's been the only attempt at throwing that breaking ball, and he's only thrown 1 changeup, and that one went 56 feet.
Tony with 2 on comes up empty.
That looked like that might have been a little slider right there. Perhaps not. Tough to tell. If it was a slider, it didn't have a lot of break on it.
2 on, 1 out for Cleveland here in the 6th inning, up by 2 runs. That's strike 2.
That one definitely was the slider.
Right.
You know, it's a pitch he's going to have to use against these left-handers, but you risk losing Arthur Rhodes for the remainder of this series.
It's the top muscle on his left forearm that is sore. Very sore.
Into right field. Barroa back. 2 out. And the only man advancing is Fernandez to third. And now first and third, 2 out with Justice walking to the plate.
Good base running by Tony Fernandez to read that line drive, realize it was going to stay in the park, and go back and tag at second, advance to third base. Manny Ramirez was halfway to second. He had no option but to go back to first base.
Justice, who has a couple of hits and 2 runs scored tonight. First and third, 2 out. One ball, 1 strike.
I think Mike Hargrove will allow David Justice to hit up until 2 strikes. So look at Eric Davis there. Maybe 1 and 2. He could send Ramirez and try to steal a run if Webster throws through. Certainly that's one of his options right now.
Two balls and a strike. Davey Nelson, the first base coach for the Indians, talked a moment ago with Rafael Palmeiro.
To leave my base runner alone. Because you don't want to get, you picked him off yesterday.
Runners at the corners with 2 out. Right to Palmeiro. And Rhodes gets around a hit and an intentional walk. Back for the 7th inning after this from your local Fox station. Brian Anderson back to work. We are through 6 innings here in Game 4. Retired 9 of the 10 hitters he has faced. The only man to reach a 1-out walk in the 4th inning. He has retired 8 in a row. And Brady Anderson up the middle for a leadoff hit. The Orioles put their leadoff man on for the first time tonight here in the 7th inning.
Remember the last at bat by Brady Anderson, who walked, trying to come inside, got the ball away, single up the middle.
Our Aflac trivia question: who was the last player to steal home in a World Series game? You just heard his voice. Tim McCarver. And our Aflac trivia answer: Game 7 of the 1964 World Series.
Does it count if it's the back end of a double steal?
Sure it does.
All right.
Here's Alomar. He takes a strike.
Dal Maxwell was the hitter. Mike Shannon was the runner.
Safe in Game 7. And we bring that up because of last night. Marquise Grissom stealing home. By the way, 2 have stolen home in the postseason since then in LCS play. Reggie Jackson and Jeff Branson in 1995 with Cincinnati.
Both back ends of the double steal. That's usually when a steal of home occurs. Certainly the most famous steal of home, Jackie Robinson. That's the one that certainly has been run the most this year against the Yankees back in the 50s.
Assenmacher and Juden getting ready for the Indians. Up by a couple. Alomar strikes out.
Roberto Alomar hitting strictly from the left side of the plate because of that injury to the shoulder, and tries to check on a fastball up and in. No question about it. That's the kind of check swing you injure yourself on right there.
Yeah.
This crowd came in ready to cheer for 21-year-old Jaret Wright. Instead, the ovations tonight for 25-year-old Brian Anderson. Jeff Juden walks in here in the 7th. 7th inning, the Orioles have 1 on, 1 out. We'll tell you now that Tuesday, he was taught to protect his family, but he never thought he'd have to save them from his own daughter, Dan Lauria. The Fox original movie Terror in the Family. Tuesday at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, here on Fox. The numbers for Brian Anderson, terrific, and again for that Indian bullpen, now 13 2/3 innings pitched, only 1 run allowed. Back to the bullpen. It's now big right-hander Jeff Juden. On the move is Brady Anderson, and uncontested. He steals second, his second steal of this LCS.
Jeff Juden, 6'5", 240 pounds. We talked about it in yesterday's game. He has the poorest move on the Indian staff.
Now Baroa cranks one into left field. Giles back over his head and off the wall. Anderson scores to make it a one-run game on a long single by Geronimo Baroa.
You cannot slip a fastball by Baroa. Like trying to slip Tweety Bird by Sylvester. He can turn any fastball around. And he does a Jeff Juden inside fastball as the Orioles narrow the gap.
And Juden will exit. Comes in to face one hitter. And Sylvester, they can't. Got him. Assenmacher enters here in the 7th. Come back for the remainder of the top of the 7th inning. We will see our third pitcher of this inning. It's Paul Assenmacher. Bob, they just keep running this guy out there, and he just keeps doing his job.
Well, earlier in the season, I said he was like an old pickup truck. He's so reliable. You just go out, turn the key. It always fires up, always does what you want it to do. He wasn't real happy about that. But,
well, good. I'm glad we brought it back up.
But that's what he does. You know, you got to have one of those guys in the pen that you can count on. He's going to answer the bell every time you call upon him. He's done a great job in this postseason.
Well, the big difference in this game is that play at the plate on what was a wild pitch delivered by Arthur Rhodes that led to 2 runs. And let's go back, and again it's Grissom involved. He was at the plate on the pitch.
And as you can see, Webster goes up the line. He can't get the ball out of his glove. The toss gets hung up with David Justice, rolls behind home plate. Rhodes is the only guy at this point that can make a play on it. He's got to throw over that pile of bodies there between him and home plate. Great heads-up base running by Sandy Alomar.
And on that replay, you could see why Davey Johnson came out to at least mildly argue. He didn't go crazy about it. He saw what I saw. Justice ended up on top of Lenny Webster, but both were trying to get out of the toss.
Right.
As opposed to Webster fighting to get back in the play. He never really got up. Webster did with a big effort to get back to home plate.
I still think one of the oddest things in the world was home plate umpire Durwood Merrill pointing to where the ball was. And how many umpires tell the players where the ball is?
Well, Alomar, the runner at second base, being a catcher, knows the kind of crazy things that can happen when a pitcher covers home plate. That's a play that maybe will happen once or twice during the course of an entire season. Very rarely will it come off smoothly. Alomar very heads up.
Scoring all the way from second base on that ball that got away. And now with 1 on, 1 out, tying run on, Eric Davis gets under one into left field. Big swing, sending Giles back. 2 out here in the 7th. Davis batting for Harold Baines, who was 1 for 3 with a 2-run home run while he was in the lineup. And Eric Davis shaking his head. He just missed that pitch.
Well, you're right. He just does miss this pitch. Gets a fastball right down the heart of the plate. Hits it off the good part of the bat. But just gets under it.
And now Assenmacher will work for Rafael Palmeiro. He's homered in this game, his first RBI of the 1997 postseason. Inside for ball 1. The Orioles have scored a run here in the 7th inning. It's a 7-6 Cleveland lead. That's up the middle for a hit. Baroa will take the turn, head to third. The throw is cut off, and it's first and third, 2 out. The tying run 90 feet away.
That is why the Indians try to pitch Rafael Palmeiro inside. Watch the plate coverage on this breaking ball. Slapped into right center.
Baroa with a quick peek over his shoulders. He goes on to third base. That's why they put coaches out there. Willie Mays was probably the only player that could do that. Run from second to third, look back over his shoulder and see what was happening behind him. Most guys would be better advised to pick up the third base coach and heed his advice.
We are going to see 4 pitchers for the Indians here in the 7th inning. Anderson started the inning, then Juden, then Ossenmacher, and now Mike Jackson. Still in the top of the 7th inning. The Orioles down by a run with 1st and 3rd, 2 out. And Mike Jackson in to face Cal Ripken. The numbers for Jackson in this postseason. Another piece to that good puzzle for Mike Hargrove out of the Indians bullpen. Alomar keeps it close enough to home plate. It's 2-0.
Palmeiro had an idea about going to second base, but he pulled up realizing he does not want to make the last out of the inning at second with the tying run at third base.
Runners at the corners with 2 out. Ripken trying to do it again for the Orioles. That's foul. 2-1. Hey. Baroa, an RBI single off the wall in this 7th inning. He's the tying run at third with a go-ahead run at first. And Palmeiro. Two and two.
That was nasty right there. Wicked slider.
That's what Ripken has done against Mike Jackson in his career. He's 0 for 2 this season, however. Nasty pitch.
To the second baseman, Fernandez. The easy flip. And the Orioles lead 2. They've stranded 6. They've scored 6 and trail by 1. These fans have been stretching for 6.5 innings, but we just got finished with a quote-unquote 7th inning stretch as Alan Mills takes over. Bottom of the 7th. There's slider, although we've seen a lot of them so far in tonight's game. Mike Jackson specializing in sliders, and he took care of the Orioles and Cal Ripken in the top of this 7th. And now Mills will work to Williams, Alomar, and Giles. Indians lead by 1 in the 7th.
Bob, you mentioned yesterday that the only real problem Alan Mills has is staying ahead. If he could reverse the early balls, as you look at Jesse Orozco, the early balls that he throws in the count, and throw more strikes early in the count, he'd be a much more successful pitcher. 2-0 to Matt Williams.
Be aggressive early and nibble late. He's got good enough stuff to do that. Go right after the hitters. Get ahead and then work the edges of the strike zone with some of the breaking balls, the off-speed pitches, the sinking fastball, the cut fastball.
Into right field and caught. Running grab by Geronimo Baroa, and Williams is 0 for 4. Time now for a Miller Lite game break, and we go back to Game 5 in the NLCS and look at Livan Hernandez taking care of the Braves all afternoon long. A 2-1 victory for Florida, and Livan Hernandez tying that LCS record set yesterday here in Cleveland by Mike Mussina with 15 strikeouts. Strike 1 on Sandy Alomar.
Not bad for a guy who was not even scheduled to start in the NLCS. That would have been Alex Fernandez's start this afternoon down in Florida, but the torn rotator cuff could be out for as much as a year and a half.
Over the inside corner, 0-2 on Alomar. Back in the second with the Indians down by 1. This swing. And that result, a 2-1 Indian lead. And the Orioles would hit 3 home runs and get 4 in the top of the third. And then the Indians began chipping away at that lead, finally overtaking the Orioles in the fifth with a 4-run 5th inning.
Good thinking by Sandy Alomar also to hit the home run ball into your own bullpen. That's one way to guarantee you'll get the ball back.
Strategic.
Yeah.
A ball and 2 strikes on Sandy. Off the end of the bat for Baroa. And the first 2 are gone for the Indians here in the 7th.
See, that's the formula that Alan Mills is looking for. Jim Palmer, the Baltimore great, used to say, stay ahead, then expand the strike zone. Alomar fouls it back. A strike on the inside corner. He misses with the slider, and watch. He reaches for the slider. You cannot expand the strike zone unless you stay ahead. Mills stayed ahead and got Alomar out.
Alomar and his base running right now the difference in this game. There's 2 runs scored on that wild pitch and consequently the error back in the 5th inning, and it was Alomar scoring all the way from second base on a ball that squirted about 15 feet away from home plate. Gave the Indians a 2-run lead, and they now lead by 1 here in the 7th. Giles with a pair of doubles and a walk.
Might add that was not an insignificant walk at the time. Runners on at first and third, walked on a 3-2 pitch, and that set things up for Justice and Alomar scoring.
Off the end of the bat for strike 2.
Once again, Mills ahead in the count now to Brian Giles. Talked about expanding that strike zone. This will give him an opportunity to work something out of the middle of the plate and hopefully get Giles to chase.
Giles just got a piece to stay alive.
Scott Kamenecki, the starting pitcher for Davy Johnson and the Orioles tomorrow night. And the Orioles hoping that they won't be trailing 3-1 when he toes the rubber.
Alan Mills back to work, looking for a 1-2-3 7th inning. A check on Palmeiro, the easy play, and the Indians go in order in the 7th. In the 8th inning, bottom part of the lineup coming up for Baltimore. They trail the Indians by 1. Don't forget that on Tuesday on NBC, it's Game 6 of the National League Championship Series as the Florida Marlins try to finish off the Atlanta Braves and make their first World Series appearance. Coverage begins 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on NBC. P.J. Surhoff leads it off, 8th inning. The Indians up by 1. That's another edge in this series. Now the Baltimore Ravens, former Cleveland Browns, they will get a team back here in 1999, building the stadium for that team. Don't know yet if it'll be an existing franchise or an expansion franchise, but the Browns and Art Modell hit the highways and headed to Baltimore.
New stadium for football here in Cleveland will be at the same site as old Municipal Stadium, and the old stadium is now at the bottom of Lake Erie. At least a very big part of it is used as a reef for the local aquatic life.
Now Surhoff set up at a ball and 2 strikes. One out.
B.J. Surhoff getting some good at-bats early in the game against the hard-throwing Jaret Wright in the high fastball, but struggling a little bit later against Brian Anderson and now Mike Jackson. You could see that slider rotation, that ball going down and in. Surhoff swung right over the top of it.
And now Lenny Webster. Webster 0 for 3 tonight. 1 out, nobody on here in the Orioles 8th. Alvin Mormon, a left-hander. Jose Mesa, the right-hander, getting ready for Cleveland in their bullpen. Bordick, the number 9 hitter, on deck. Into center field, and Lenny Webster. The tying run is on here in the 8th inning, and that has to feel good for a guy who's been involved in so much of this series. The controversial plays at the plate. He gets a key 1-out hit here in the 8th.
Looked like a backup slider stayed over the middle of the plate. Lenny Webster down at first base. Davy Johnson in the 9th inning of last night's game. Day/night's game. There's the slider right there, middle of the plate. Brings the hands in, ropes it to center. Davy Johnson pinch running Jeff Rebele in last night's ball game.
Now Bordick comes up empty with strike 1.
That choice of Jeff Rebele last night proved a very wise move by Davy Johnson.
The Orioles down by a game and a run. 8th inning, 7-6 Cleveland. Bordick checked his swing. It's 2-1.
After 2 sliders low and away, Jackson comes with a fastball up and in. First base umpire Larry McCoy says he checked. Looks like he held up.
Yep.
Now Jackson behind in the count, 2-1. 3-1. And with a couple of left-handers, Anderson and Alomar to follow, this might be all for Mike Jackson. 1 on, 1 out. And a full count on Bordick.
It's like Bordick taking all the way. He likes the matchup of Brady Anderson against Alvin Mormon. Now do you send the runner or not?
Strike 3 called over the outside corner.
Here's how Mike Jackson went after Mike Bordick. Slider gets a swinging strike, another slider down low. Drop down fastball, doesn't get the call. Slider low and away. There's the 3-2 pitch as a slider right on the black. A lot of confidence in that pitch to go to it on a 3-2 count.
And now with Brady Anderson coming up, Jose Mesa walks in out of the Indians bullpen here in the 8th. The Goodyear blimp. If you've ever wondered what the inside of a Goodyear blimp looks like, then visit Goodyear's website at www.goodyear.com, where that and many more questions are answered. We thank the Goodyear Blimp for joining us here. Game 4 in Cleveland. Here's Jose Mesa.
Jose Mesa worked 2 innings in yesterday's ball game. He was the pitcher on the mound when Brady Anderson hit the ball to center field, lost by Marquise Grissom, scoring Jeff Rebelo.
Up there ready to swing, strike 1. At the end of tonight's game, Tim, Bob, and I will select the Chevy Truck player of the game. Brady Anderson is homered, walked, singled, and scored. Made a diving catch in the outfield early. 1 on, 2 out in the 8th. To the right side, Fernandez. Top of the 8th, over. Fans of Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs.
The good sister's really into Wooly Bully between innings.
Everybody is into this baseball scene here in Cleveland.
Oh, that's great.
What a place has not stopped shaking since the division series against the Yankees. And Marquise Grissom leads off 1 for 3. Trying to get something started for the Indians here in the 8th. And a strike from Alan Mills. Grissom, Fernandez, and Vizquel will bat here in the 8th inning. Two balls and a strike on Grissom.
Harold Baines, the designated hitter that started the game, is out of there, so Eric Davis will be matched up with Mesa in the 9th inning. He will be the 3rd hitter for the Orioles.
Alomar, Baroa, and Eric Davis. If anybody gets on, Palmeiro. Bottom of the 8th inning, and Grissom pops one foul, 2-2.
How important is this game to the Baltimore Orioles? If they fall behind 3 games to 1, keep in mind that there have been 49 postseason series where a team has taken a 3-1 lead. And in 41 of those 49 series, the team with the 3-1 lead has won the best 4 out of 7.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Grissom. Mike Mussina so good here yesterday. 15 strikeouts. But in the eventual losing cause, Orel Hershiser right there with him. Two balls, 2 strikes on Grissom. 3-2 from Mills.
It's a big at bat for the Indians if Marquise Grissom can get on base. Tony Fernandez, the next hitter, a very good bunter, very adept handler of the bat, especially from the left side of the plate. Can really move the ball around with a slug bunt, with a drag bunt. He can take it with him.
One away as Grissom chased it. And for Mills, that's 4 faced and 4 retired.
On the 3-2 pitch, Mills goes with the big overhand curveball out of the strike zone. Grissom in a defensive mode up there at the plate, sees that pitch start in the zone and then just bottom out as it came across the plate.
There's Tony Fernandez, who singled his first time up. Took over for Bip Roberts, who left with a strained knee. didn't agree.
I don't think Eric Davis agreed with that call either.
Base is empty behind Mills. 1 ball, 1 strike. Strike 2 on Fernandez. Vizquel will follow, and again in the 9th inning for the Orioles, who will be trailing by at least 1. It'll be Alomar, Baroa, and Eric Davis. Brady Anderson in center. Back a couple, 2 out.
We mentioned that the team ahead in postseason play. 49 teams have been up 3 games to 1. 41 have won it. Think about this going against the Orioles right now. They have not won a road game this year, including yesterday's game, when they've trailed after 8 innings. Not one.
And you're talking about the best road team in the major leagues with 52 road wins in 1997. Vizquel pops one foul for strike 1. Oh for 14 in this ALCS is Omar Vizquel.
Well, this is really uncharted territory for the Orioles. Of course, they were wire to wire in the Eastern Division, never trailed. The division series against Seattle, never trailed. It's the first time they find themselves looking up at another team.
To the right side for Alomar. Roberto Alomar will lead it off in the 9th inning. Last chance for the Orioles in game 4. Indians lead by 1. Jose Mesa back to work, trying to protect a 1-run lead here in game 4. 8th inning on, the Baltimore Orioles 5 out of 24 with 1 run scored in the series, and you know when that came in the 9th inning yesterday. The Indians lead 2 games to 1, trying to make it 3 games to 1. Alomar first up. Roberto is 0 for 3 with a walk tonight. Two 2-0. Indian fans don't have to think back too far. October 5th against Jose Mesa here at Jacobs Field. This home run in the division series. Orioles win the game and the series, and then moved on to lose to the Yankees in the 1996 ALCS.
That home run came on a slider down and in from Jose Mesa. He's gone after him with fastballs on the first 2 pitches, but has tried to overthrow him. Sandy Alomar went out to talk to Mesa, try to settle him down a little bit, get him back in the zone.
3-0 from Mesa.
I think you can see Roberto Alomar taking 2 pitches here. Give him a chance to get wild with Baroa on deck.
A leadoff walk on 4 straight from Mesa. Bob Brenly, you came into this game tonight talking about this situation. The Orioles put their leadoff man on. Here they are down by a run in the 9th inning. Is there any thought of Baroa bunting?
Absolutely not. I mean, they had a similar situation in extra innings yesterday, or rather in the 9th inning. Hoyles reached first with a base hit. They ran Jeff Rebele for him. They actually sent Jeffrey Hammonds up to pinch hit for their best bunter, Mike Bordick, and let him swing away.
A leadoff walk, and now Baroa. a strike over the outside corner.
I think in this situation, though, Baroa, with 28 home runs this year, including the 2 in the LCS. I should say 2 in postseason play.
One ball, one strike.
You make a mistake to this guy inside, he can hurt you and hurt you big time.
Outside corner, strike 2.
That's why Mesa's staying away.
Two. To the right side, trouble and through. Alomar will take the turn, head to third, and it's first and third, nobody out. A walk and a single for the Orioles here in the ninth.
What a huge hit for Geronimo Baroa. On a fastball outside off the plate, it looked like, and watch him just punch it through the hole.
Very nice piece of defensive hitting right there.
Jeffrey Hammonds will run for Baroa. He's the go-ahead run here in the ninth inning. There's the tying run, Alomar, nobody out, and here is Eric Davis. The infield is back. They will concede the run for the double play. A strike from Mesa. Went through the story yesterday with Eric Davis going through chemotherapy after game 2. Not a lot of sleep. Played in yesterday's game, and here he is in game 4. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Mesa will try to ride the fastball up on Eric Davis, up in the strike zone to induce either a pop-up, a strikeout.
Strike 2 on Eric Davis. A leadoff walk to Alomar, a base hit by Baroa. Hammonds running, and a 1-2 count on Eric Davis with nobody out.
Jose has seen a bunch of right-handers use that move, but that was not necessarily the time to do it. I don't think he tricked Jeffrey Hammonds.
One away.
Well, you mentioned him going up the ladder against Eric Davis. Gets the called strike. Goes low and away with a fastball. Then another high fastball. Right on the outside corner. Tough pitch to hit unless you're Geronimo Baroa.
And now with first and third, 1 out, it's Rafael Palmeiro,
who is 2 for 4 with a home run, and both hits tonight were on balls out away from him. Watch Mesa pitch him inside, or at least try to get him out inside.
Up the middle, off Mesa. In to score is Alomar, and safe all around. It's a 7-7 game. And Rafael Palmeiro picked tonight, game 4, to break through. His first RBIs of the postseason, a homer back in the 3rd, and the game-tying infield single here in the 9th.
I don't know. It is doubtful that if this ball gets by Mesa, that it would have been fielded by Tony Fernandez. Fernandez was shading Palmeiro to pull, and it was on the second base side of second base. I don't think Vizquel gets to the ball, and if he does, he has to go back to touch the bag. There's nobody there to cover it.
Now Ripken, 2 on, 1 out, and ball 1 high from Mesa. The go-ahead run is Hammonds at second. The trail runner is Palmeiro, who's tied it with a hit. And again, it's Ripken at the plate. Two on, 1 out. That's to third for Williams. To second, out. To first, not in time. And it's first and third, 2 out.
I'm surprised that Matt Williams and Tony Fernandez made it this close, even though Cal Ripken was jammed with a pitch. When a right-hander is jammed, it's tougher for him to get down the first base line quickly. Just safe at first.
Now Williams' momentum was taking him away from third base. Initially, it looked like he might be able to field that ball and go right to the bag, step on third, throw across the infield, but his momentum carried him towards the middle of the infield.
Now B.J. Surhoff with runners at the corners, 2 out, and a pop-up for third baseman Matt Williams. And the Orioles get only 1 to tie. They lead 2. They've stranded 9. Bottom of inning number 9, tied at 7. Ballpark at Jacobs Field, and I'm sure those watching, the Oriole fans back on the East Coast, thinking, here we go again. After that 4-hour, 51-minute game in Game 3 yesterday afternoon and last night, it's a 7-7 game in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Orioles trying to make it 2-2 in the series. The Indians trying to go up 3 games to 1. Hammonds takes over in the outfield for Baroa, and Manny Ramirez is first up for the Indians in the 9th. Ramirez has already gone deep once tonight. He's singled, doubled, homered, and been intentionally walked. Alan Mills working his 3rd inning of relief help. Took over for Rhodes, and he has been perfect through 2 innings. Strike 2.
Couple of good breaking balls to start Manny Ramirez there. We talked last inning. Mills is much more effective when he gets ahead. He doesn't try to throw a perfect breaking ball. He just tries to throw it in the strike zone. Ramirez will swing through 2 of them.
He has retired 6 in a row, and this is probably his last batter with Tomey on deck. Davey Johnson will probably go to Orozco for Tomey and Justice.
Wouldn't chase that. 1 and 2. Two and 2. Who's left in the Cleveland bullpen? The right-hander Eric Plunk, who's getting loose now, and the left-hander Alvin Mormon. That's it.
That's why the Orioles, if they can hold the Indians for this half inning, would have a decided advantage if the game goes into extra innings.
They have Myers, Orozco from the left side, Benitez and Matthews from the right side. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Manny Ramirez, leading off in the 9th. From 0-2 to 3-2.
5 consecutive breaking balls from Mills. First 2 for strikes, the next 3 missed the zone completely. Ramirez is able to lay off, run the count to full.
Three balls, 2 strikes on Manny Ramirez. A leadoff walk. And that's it for Alan Mills.
And another bunting situation for Jim Thome.
Jesse Orozco walks in from the Oriole bullpen as Alan Mills exits here in the 9th. A leadoff walk, and the Indians have their winning run aboard in the 9th inning. We're in the 9th inning of Game 4 with the Orioles and Indians tied 7-7. We remind you that tomorrow it's pivotal Game 5 of the American League Championship Series as Scott Kamenecki and the Orioles take on Chad Ojai and the Indians. Don't miss all the action beginning live at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific here on Fox tomorrow night. And as Orozco enters, it will not be Thome, but again Kevin Seitzer batting for Thome in this bunting situation.
Seitzer batting for Thome last night. He had bunting on his mind, but Lenny Webster on a wild pitch allowing Vizquel to go to third, and then when Randy Myers came in, Seitzer was swinging away, and he hit the ball on the good play by Cal Ripken at third base in the 11th inning.
Seitzer at the plate batting for Thome. And a check on the runner at first. This is the same situation, Bob, that we had here yesterday in the 9th.
Bunting situation at the plate. You see Ramirez leaning the wrong way, gets picked off at first base, and was actually leaning on that pickoff attempt from Jesse Orozco.
It was.
Davey Nelson wants to throw a rope around him down there.
Larry Mahan.
Perfect bunt by Seitzer. And the sacrifice good, 1-4. The winning run down to second with 1 out here in the 9th.
Normally you don't like to bunt the ball directly back to the pitcher, but he deadens it so well. You see the ball takes 2 hops on the dirt and just rolls harmlessly out into the infield grass. Orozco only with the play at first.
Seitzer does his job. Down to second, Ramirez with 1 out. And it's David Justice at the plate. It's worth pointing out as Orozco takes a moment that in this day and age of one ego after another, Jim Thome deserves a lot of credit. Lifted quite a bit for one pinch hitter or another, and you never hear him complain. A guy who hit 40 home runs during the regular season. Lifted here, and Seitzer did his job. Now with Ramirez at second, 1 out, here's Justice. Ball 1.
Keep in mind, just because Ramirez has reached second base, the adventure has not ended. The Orioles do have that pickoff move at second. We talked about earlier in the game, a timing play with the catcher.
inside, 2-0 on Justice.
First base open, no way does Orozco give in to Justice in this situation. Matt Williams on deck, but Orozco won't be in there to pitch to him.
The breaking ball inside on the corner, 2-1. Matt Williams is next.
The old American Legion slurve started right at the hitter's shoulder, break it over the inside part of the plate. Justice thought it was inside. Drew it. Merrill thought it was a good pitch.
Popped into shallow center for Brady Anderson, or boarded. Anderson wants it, 2 gone. And a big out as Orozco gets David Justice.
So Omar Vizquel call off Marquise Grissom on a similar pop-up last night. This time you can see Brady Anderson calling all the way. Bordick gives way and lets the center fielder make the play.
So Justice flies to shallow center. And with Ramirez at second and 2 out, and Matt Williams, the scheduled hitter, Davey Johnson will dip back into that Oriole bullpen. Take a break here in the 9th inning. Baltimore trying to send this one to the 10th. Armando Benitez takes over for the Orioles here in the 9th inning to battle with Matt Williams. Winning run at second base, Manny Ramirez, 2 out. 7-7 game in the 9th. Just poured over the outside corner for strike 1.
And I think that's exactly what Benitez will do. Could have been instructions from Davey Johnson. If you walk him, you walk him. The reason they're pitching to Williams, however, is that if you need a base hit, Alomar would be the guy instead of Williams. It's 70 points higher than Matt this year.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Earlier in the game, the Orioles were going after Matt Williams almost exclusively with sliders on the outside part of the plate. Ball in the dirt becomes a factor here.
There's the situation here in the bottom of the 9th inning, a 7-7 game. Indians up 2 games to 1 and have a chance with a winning run at second. Ramirez, 2 out.
Infield is deeper than normal. As a matter of fact, Roberto Alomar in shallow right off the infield.
miles per hour, too much, 2-2.
Williams a good fastball hitter, tough to catch up with 98-mile-an-hour gas. Gets it up in the zone as well. Chronicled earlier, Williams a better low ball hitter. A little giddy up on it right there.
One strike, 1 out away from extra innings again. The Indians 1 hit away from a victory. Still 2-2. John Hart, the general manager of the Indians. A lot of adjusting to this team over the offseason, and here they are in the ALCS.
He was doing his Leo Mazzoni impersonation there, rocking back and forth.
Two balls, 2 strikes. That's out of play.
Good defensive hitting by Matt Williams. You saw Baroa go to right field. That led to a run by the Orioles in the 9th inning. And now Matt Williams. Pitch on the outside corner. Williams making the adjustment. It is so difficult to adjust against a guy like Benitez who throws so hard.
And when Benitez is able to throw his other pitches around the zone, that slider low and away or the split down around the knees breaking into the dirt, he can make you look funny because you have to respect that fastball at 97, 98 miles an hour.
Two balls, two strikes. Full count with Sandy Alomar on deck. Two walks in the inning, 2 on, 2 out. And Sandy Alomar could cap a tremendous night. A 2-run home run in the second, an RBI single in that 4-run 5th inning, and he scored the 7th run of the night for the Indians with great base running on the wild pitch and error with the bases loaded. Scored all the way from second base, and now with the bat tries to end game 4. Nicely played by Webster.
Slider away. Watch Lenny Webster. It's usually not good policy for a catcher to hold his hand down or behind his back with runners on base. The reason for that, it doesn't put you in a good position to block the ball when it's in the dirt. Lenny Webster with that hand down around the thigh. Got to bring it out there so you're in good position to block the ball.
Back toward us, 1-1. Sandy Alomar Jr. as big a reason for the Indians as any. So why they're here in game 4, down by a run in the 8th inning off Mariano Rivera, out of the reach of Paul O'Neill. The 2-2 game and later a 3-2 victory to force game 5, which the Indians won behind Jaret Wright.
Benitez with a similar kind of fastball to Mariano Rivera, the high riding four-seamer.
2 balls and a strike. Center field. Indians win. standing by with Chip Carey, the hero, Sandy Alomar Jr.
All right, Joe, thanks a lot. Well, you did it again. This has been an unbelievable year and an unbelievable series.
Well, I've been having a tough series against Baltimore Orioles. I came out earlier today and worked out, tried to shorten my stroke because my stroke was being long. So, you know, I know Benita throws hard, so you're trying to concentrate to get a short stroke.
You guys have had so many chances in this series, and finally you come through, and no extra innings tonight. How about that?
Well, we thought it was going to be a pitching matchup with Jaret and Erickson, but it was a hitter's night, and I'm very fortunate that I got to contribute.
You guys are now up 3-1 over the Orioles. Nobody expected the Indians to be in this position. What's with this ball club?
Well, we don't have nothing to lose. We're just going out there and having fun, and just let it be. You know, like, we can worry about the so-called experts, you know, making us an underdog. That's part of the game, and we're now having a lot of fun.
And how about this crowd? The 10th man has been awesome this entire year, this entire series.
Well, definitely, they've been part of the whole thing. They've been very exciting, and we are giving them a lot of things to be rooting about.
Well, you got a chance to clinch it tomorrow. Congratulations again for tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, Sandy Alomar, Joe Buck, let's send it back to you upstairs.
All right, Chip, Sandy Alomar Jr. is tonight's Chevy Truck Player of the Game. Are you ready for more excitement? As you take one more look at the swing, the result, a victory for the Indians in Game 4 and a 3-1 lead for Cleveland in the 1997 ALCS. Tomorrow night, it's pivotal Game 5 of the American League Championship Series as Scott Kamenecki and the Orioles take on Chad O'Jay and the Indians as Cleveland tries to end the ALCS. Don't miss all the action beginning live at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, right here on Fox. So for Tim McCarver and Bob Brenly, I'm Joe Buck saying so long from a rocking Jacobs Field in Cleveland, where the final score is in Game 4. The Indians 8, the Orioles 7, and a 3-1 advantage for Cleveland. You've been watching Fox Sports coverage of Major League Baseball. Good night from Ohio.
This has been a presentation of Fox Sports, home of the NFL, NHL, and Major League Baseball.